the crack of the bat, a fastball right down the plate. The sounds of spring signal optimism.
We will be very likely the youngest team in the big leagues this year, but along the way, we're also going to thrill you.
If not for the present, then for the Mariners' future.
We're going straight after it, all right.
Yes, the Cactus League is where it starts.
The Mariners' Season of Change, presented by Albert Lee and Dubin Law.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Francis and welcome to A Season of Change, a title that might work in several recent Mariners seasons, but especially this year as they take the next step in the step-back plan. Now the M's may not win many games in 2020, but they have transformed the roster and the farm system into a group that they hope can compete in the very near future. Here's the big picture. The M's are projected to be the youngest team in the American League, if not the majors. Their playoff drought is likely to extend to a professional sports record 19 seasons, and they're the only team never to have played in a World Series. Despite that, there is all kinds of optimism in camp, mostly because these players are so young. Many of them were in diapers during the M's heyday. They're not thinking about 2001 or the slide in 95. They're thinking about building a winner in 2021 and beyond. We spent most of the opening week of spring training in Peoria, and what we saw firsthand was the experience that they'll gain in the next 7 months will be crucial.
It's just a great feeling to just be back out on the field and working with all the guys, you know, having a group out here. So, I mean, great vibes going around. I mean, it's just, you know, constant grinding.
We are a young squad, obviously, so, you know, the only thing we lack is experience. We got a lot of talent, a lot of heart, and these guys, they like to have a lot of fun.
You know, it's a different vibe. It's different than years past, that's for sure. You know, these guys are, you know, all trying to establish themselves. They're all trying to, you know, make a team. They're trying to, you know, prove that they belong and everything.
And with such a young group, the M's are going to lean heavily on star third baseman Kyle Seager to be a mentor. The 32-year-old is suddenly the old man on the team.
We're going straight after it, all right. I don't think I'm the oldest, though. I think well, the Yoshi's older than me, so I got one guy. So yeah, it happened quickly.
Join the club, Kyle. He may be the second oldest player on the roster, aside from pitcher Yoshi Hirano, but the youth movement was something Seager welcomed.
If you're spending a lot of money and you're paying and you're trying to win and do all this other stuff, and you didn't win, then something was wrong. You got to make changes, right? So I mean, that's completely understandable.
Then he was asked if he was consulted on the changes, the trades, the draft picks, essentially leaving him the lone star on the roster.
No, that's above my pay grade.
There's not many things above his pay grade. That's one of them.
That's over my head. Those are for people smarter than me.
Kyle is one of the top returning bats on the roster. He did his damage after missing 40 games with a broken hand. The M's are hoping the guys on this list can lead the way while the youngsters figure out how to hit major league pitching. And at some point, eventually down the road, we might see T-Mobile Park turn into a run factory. But we all know what baseball really comes down to is pitching. Right now, the M's have just one arm they know they can depend on. Aside from Marco Gonzalez, you've got a second-year starter who was very inconsistent in 2019, a rookie who's just pitched in 8 games, and 2 more guys coming off Tommy John surgery. But Kendall Graveman, a former Oakland A's opening day starter, says he's ready.
I think the main thing is just being consistent, you know, consistent delivery, you know, consistent routines. You know, I want to be a consistent player every time I'm out there, 5th day. I want the guys to know that, you know, okay, we got a chance to win with Chefs up there on the mound.
You've played this game for such a long time, and then to miss 18 months and not compete and all the things that come along with it. It's been a great year, as I've said before, but it was a challenging year, and I'm excited to be back on the mound and competing and doing what I love to do.
And the backbone of the staff will be Marco Gonzalez, who made all 34 scheduled starts last year. He won 16 games on a team that won 68 total. But his main attribute, the one the M's are counting on, is his leadership. He's only 28, but he's gladly taken the ace mantle from King Felix.
Like I said, it's a process, so we're never going to be finished, but you know, I'm trying to spend time getting to know everybody, getting to know how, you know, what makes everyone tick, you know, how competitive everyone is, who can be pushed, you know, that sort of thing. Just trying to get a feel for what we got, and right now, you know, my assessment is we got a lot of guys who love to compete. You know, they love to be here for their team. They're doing it for the right reasons. I've been really enthused by a lot of our guys.
So your projected starting 5 after Marco, Yusei Kikuchi, who's working on his new mechanics, Graveman and Taijuan Walker, both those guys coming off those injuries, and Justice Sheffield, you heard from him they rounded out. Now, if anyone should falter or get hurt, Justin Dunn and Wei Yin Chen, they can also fill in. And because some of those guys are unproven and coming off injury, the bullpen is going to get a lot of use like it did last season. Right now, we're really not sure who's going to be coming out of those doors in the outfield. There are some 25 pitchers vying for 8 spots on the big league bullpen roster. Guys like Dan Altavilla and Matt McGill really need to impress.
For me, it's just coming in healthy. Last year, I felt like I wasn't, full tilt. And coming in this year, just from my bullpens and live BP, it seems like it's coming out really well. Arms loose, so, I'm not dealing with any soreness. So, I'm excited for this year. And, the biggest thing for me is, get strike one, get ahead of guys, and put them away.
Whatever Scott wants to put me in, that's what I want to do. And I have never been, for me, I don't mind pitching 1 inning, multiple innings, whatever I can do to help the team win, that's my role. And that's what I'm going into spring thinking of.
That's a good attitude. Now, with so many arms, it might be tough for Scott Service to choose the right guys, but there is one thing each candidate absolutely must do.
With young pitchers with big stuff, oftentimes it can kind of translate into a few more walks, deeper in counts, behind in the count. We've got to really do a good job of controlling the count, throw strike one. That's how they're going to make the team. And if they can't throw it over the plate, there's a good chance they won't be on the team. And we've messaged that to them very, very clearly, about as clearly as I just did to you. It is the number one goal. I don't care if it comes out 95, 85, or somewhere in the middle. It's got to get over the plate.
Okay, still to come. Every pitcher loves good defense, something the Mariners weren't very good at last year. So they hired a guru of sorts. We'll introduce you to the guy everyone calls Bone when a season of change continues.
Whenever you need me, I'm here.
Thank you very much, sir.
When you need to know, I'll make sure you're covered.
Now you have enough food until we get this thing handled.
When it really matters to you.
This debt has been canceled.
I want you to know I've got your back.
Eye-opening investigations, so you know more on KIRO 7 at 11.
Welcome back. It's the Valley of the Sun. No excuses for putting off that early morning workout. Everyone gets their fielding drills in, their cuts in the batting cage, all part of the plan that will help put a better product on the field in Seattle. To that end, these kids are all learning how to be big leaguers, learning how to win, and someone has to teach them. Enter the guy they call Bone, the new infield coach, Perry Hill.
Yeah, he's helped me out a lot. I had some problems back in Philly, and I didn't know how to fix them. And then I came over here 2 off seasons ago, and he came and helped me out. He just simplified everything, all the fundamentals, and just made it really easy and made baseball fun again.
Perry Hill is the most vocal coach in camp, and according to the players, exactly what was needed.
He gets loud out there. He has great energy every day, but, behind that, there's so much teaching, there's so much, you know, knowledge that he has of the game, how he thinks about things. You know, he's made, you know, defense and infield work very simple. So I mean, it's repeatable, it's simple, and it works.
And for Hill, every day is Christmas.
Oh, it's exciting. I told somebody the other day, I've been on young teams before, and I've been on talented teams before. But when you have a young, talented team, that's really the time to get excited. And I can't wait to see how this thing goes.
Until then, the message is keep it simple. J.P. Crawford is on board.
You can get carried away from this game thinking too much, and just, you got to remember, it's just a game that you've been playing forever, so just follow the fundamentals and just do what you've been doing for the last 20 years.
And where did the nickname Bone come from? Hill says when he was a kid, he ate a lot of fried chicken.
For some reason, I would pick up the chicken bone on my plate and just walk around the house with it. One day I had a friend come over and spend the night. Sleep over on a Saturday night. We had the fried chicken, which was a staple. I did my little thing, took the bone, walked around the house, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. What are you doing? I mean, what am I? It was completely normal to me. What do you mean, what am I doing? You got a bone in your hand. Next Monday I go to school. No longer Perry, I'm Bone.
There are worse ways to get a nickname. Bone is hoping to transform a defense that led the majors in errors last season. He has coached 6 Gold Glovers in his 25-year Major League career. Maybe the next one is in the group you see here. In fact, Shed Long is one of Bone's star pupils. The Mariners have basically handed him the second base job, and they expect a big improvement from his late season call-up when he batted .263 with 5 home runs and 15 RBI in 42 games. Can he build on that for 162? Well, we know this. On defense, he and J.P. Crawford are already in sync.
Me and JP, we pretty comfortable over there, you know. So, I mean, it's going to be fun to be with him, and, you know, it'll be exciting to have us up the middle working together. So, but, I mean, it doesn't take very long. You know, for me and him, it was like as soon as we met and we got out there on the field, it was just like we clicked, you know what I mean?
Another guy that can really flash some leather, Evan White. He's penciled in as the first baseman on potential alone. He hasn't even made his Major League debut. He's already been awarded a 6-year, $24 million contract.
I'm sure it's going to be, whenever I hopefully make my debut, it's going to be an emotional day, and you know, have my family up there and everything, and all the people have got me to this point. It's going to be an emotional time, but you know, hopefully it's just kind of take a deep breath, and I'm sure it's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but you know, hopefully once I get out there, it's just baseball game.
Still to come, we sit down with the man who was tasked with building the first Mariners playoff team in nearly 2 decades. Jerry Dipoto talks about the step-back plan.
Road conditions can change in a matter of seconds. With available 4Motion all-wheel drive, your Volkswagen can too.
This President's Day, lease the stylish and powerful 2020 Volkswagen Tiguan S 4Motion for just $269 a month at your local Volkswagen dealer.
Ready? When you sell with a Redfin agent, more people see your home. That's because more people visit Redfin.com than any other brokerage site. So the right buyers come to you. And you sell for more than the home next door. All for a 1% listing fee when you buy and sell.
This is the Chevy Silverado with the world's first invisible trailer.
Invisible trailer?
Hop in. Silverado offers an optional technology package with up to 15 different views, including one enhanced view that makes your trailer appear invisible.
Wow, that's pretty sweet.
That's cool. Where's the trailer though?
Or qualified lessees can lease this Silverado Custom without optional tech package or enhanced invisible view for around $349 a month, or get 0% financing for 72 months on all Silverado 1500 pickups when you purchase.
You know, you pay too much for your glasses. Should have gone to America's Best, where 2 pairs and a free exam are just $69.95. I'm just saying, the exam alone is worth at least $50.
Got it.
So, this is a par 3, and you're about to hit 6?
No, I'm about to hit a birdie.
2 pairs for $69.95. Includes a free exam. It's not just a better deal, it's America's Best.
There are 2 places that are great for learning how to drive. An empty parking lot, and inside a Volkswagen.
This President's Day, lease the sporty, driver-inspired 2019 Volkswagen Jetta S for just $189 a month at your local Volkswagen dealer.
Welcome back. During our time in Peoria, we got a chance to sit down with the architect of the Mariners' grand plan. General Manager Jerry Dipoto says he's more energized than he's been in his 30-plus years in baseball.
You know, our goal coming into the day is to get better than we were yesterday, and we're watching it. You know, the young players, they're all so talented. They're sponges. They want to learn. They ask great questions. This is by far the youngest spring training group that I've ever been with, on any level, as a player, as an executive, whatever. And every day they are energizing the environment, and you're going to see one or more of them do something each day that makes you say, wow, like, and not just dream of what might happen if all the skills come together, but you're watching them come together, which is so much fun.
I think Bone said, you know, it's one thing to have young players, but it's another thing to have young and talented players. And he's been in the game a long time, so that really spoke volumes in terms of what he told us.
I think, you know, whether you're a casual observer or you are a coach who's been here like Bone, you're among our executive team who effectively have been here for these last 4, now going on 5 years, putting this group together. This is the spring training of the last 5, which I've been here for. Of the last 5 spring trainings, this is the best group of talent, you know, a pool of talent we've ever had.
Is it a stupid question to say there's too much talent? I mean,
there's never too much
there's
talent.
Never too much talent. I knew you were going to say that.
Talent.
There's never too much talent. But man, you got some tough decisions down the road here, which is what you want, I guess.
I think so. You know, somebody told me some years back when the Yankees were building their great dynasty that started in, let's say, 1996 and ran for 10, 12 years. And I'm sure it happened many times in Yankee history. You know, there comes a time when you're developing that team where you have to determine who stays and who goes when you have a giant pool of talent. And you know, they were fortunate enough in those years that they chose to keep Bernie Williams, but don't get lost on the fact that they had Deion Sanders and Gerald Williams, and like they had multiple center fielders at every level. They just happened to choose the right one. And you know, they had to do that at multiple positions. I hope we have to make those types of decisions, and when we do, I hope we do it as well as they do.
No kidding. Like that's where the gamble needs to pay off in terms of the decisions you make. Now, you didn't make too many transactions this year, especially in the off season. But you probably have a nickname, right, Mr. I mean, to build all this talent, Mr. Trade. What did they give you a nickname?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of nicknames. You know, I guess depending on which circle you want to surf in.
Right.
It's funny. I had one of our minor league players yesterday ask me, "What is your favorite part about being a general manager?" And I said, you know, it's this. It's acquiring young talent, whether it be through the draft, internationally, in a trade, building programs, and then helping the players improve and taking satisfaction in it. He said, oh, I thought you were going to say trading them. And I said, no, not at all. My preference is that we don't do that. But every roster has its own challenges. And the roster we ran from 2016 to 18 required a lot of transactions to prop up our core and compete. You know, last year we made a ton of transactions primarily to try to set the foundation for what we're doing now. And you know, if we called that in 2019 the step back, this is our next step forward, which is to give those young players the opportunity, the reps. You won't improve if you don't get to play. So give them the reps and let them go take that next step in their career, and we feel like a year from now we all win if that's the case.
But it's a little ahead of schedule.
If you would have told me that we were going to move from roughly being regarded as the 30th best and maybe the 31st in a 30-team, you know, league, we were not well regarded in terms of our minor league talent. And then a year and a half later, we were going to be considered one of the top 5 or 6, and in some circles higher.
That is so fast.
It's happening quicker than we could have hoped. So that part is exciting, and now we have to watch them develop in the big leagues, which will be another. It's going to be exciting, and they're going to be ebbs and flows, but we're really confident in this talent.
So what will it look like? What will you feel like when that opening day comes and you have this group of kids? Not a lot of people will know their names, but you get to see them in action, really in action.
To me, it's exciting, and you know, this is. I came up as a player a lot of years ago in the early '90s, and this was the environment that I came up in with a very young, developing Cleveland Indians team. Jim Thome and Kenny Lofton and Albert Bell, and we were a really talented young group, and you needed the reps. And my first year in the big leagues, the first half we weren't very good. The second half we became very dangerous. The next year we were a first place club. So you know, it happens very, very quickly, and I think that's what excites me most coming to the ballpark. and I look at opening day this year and good health, in our favor. If I'm looking out at the field and I see Evan White and I see Shed Long and I see J.P. Crawford and Kyle Lewis and I see young pitchers like Justice Sheffield and Justin Dunn and the next step forward for Marco Gonzalez and potentially guys like Jake Fraley, and that's exciting for us because we're going to find out a lot about those players that we're counting as part of the foundation of what we're building. But with the youthful energy, we will be very likely the youngest team in the big leagues this year. We're going to make mistakes, but along the way, we're also going to thrill you, just like we see out here every day. These guys get better.
Well, he's got me convinced. Thanks to Jerry Dipoto for taking time. Here's just some of the projected starting lineup, all between 23 and 26 years old, still a couple of years away from the prime of their careers. In fact, the oldest guy on this list, Malik Smith, is passing along the lessons he learned in his first big league season.
Just the emphasis on the details to your work, and just make sure I'm paying attention to every little part of my game, not coming out feeling like, oh, I did this well yesterday, so I got it today. No, it's just every day being very diligent in every part of my work, and then spreading that amongst all the kids and the youth that we got around here.
All right, coming up on A Season of Change, we'll hear from two of the hottest prospects in baseball, both under 21 years old and part of the outfield of the future.
At KIRO 7, we believe that everyone can make a difference. Look out for each other. Show we care. Because at the end of the day, it's about what we give back, whom we lift up, and how we work together that makes us all part of a stronger community. KIRO 7 cares.
We are back one more time on A Season of Change. They say baseball is a kid's game, and that is definitely true. Some of these kids look a little older than the ones that might be on the M's opening day roster. I joke, but my 2-year-old loves baseball. 12-year-olds, they love getting autographs. And older fans in the know, they love meeting some of the game's future stars. And speaking of the future, we got a chance to see two of the top prospects in the entire game during our time in Peoria. Jared Kelenic and Julio Rodriguez look and act like the odd couple, but they are becoming best of friends and the future of Mariners baseball. Ranked number 7 and number 10 by Baseball Prospectus. What pressure?
Julio and I have high expectations, higher than anybody else. So all of this is expected, but it's in a very genuine way. It's not arrogant at all. So him and I we block it out because we know our talent, we know everything that comes with it, but we're still, he's 19, we're still kids, and we're still out here just trying to have fun.
We feel the same way. We literally talk all the time about it. We're just trying to go out there and have fun. We really don't think about it, just trying to play the game the best way we can play, and just, I don't know, have fun. That's all we do.
And to prove that point, we asked manager Scott Service how his youngsters, just 19 and 20 years old, are handling all this attention.
It's a much brighter light that is on them. It's ever been on them. And it's, you know, we all get excited about young prospects. And again, it goes back to the media and Baseball America, and everybody's got rankings and lists. So they're going good, they're going bad, it's positive, it's negative. You know, they want to teach them to be pros, and we're starting at a very early age with those guys.
Leaning on guys who have already been there is a key for all these kids. Dan Vogelbach says something as small as deleting a Twitter account can help.
Anything that, you know, I think has a negative impact on me, I try to, you know, get rid of it in my life. So, you know, that's kind of something that I would advise other people to do, you know, younger guys to do. You think it's getting in the way of you, you know, this comes and goes pretty fast. You know, you have a small window to perform and play in the big leagues. So, you know, take advantage of every opportunity you get.
Sage advice from Daniel. And just to give you a final feel of how much fun these guys are having, there's a ping pong tournament going on right now in the M's locker room, organized by pitcher Justin Dunn.
Yeah, so I'm terrible. But I
16 seed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm one and done. I'm out. There's no Cinderella story coming from me, but I've had the ability to sit back, and I have a good chair in the locker room so I can see everybody play without them knowing. So I have my 8 sleepers that I put on there. And I'm hoping that they do pretty well. Went random generator to get the seeding so nobody was mad at me with their seeds, but I have my top 8.
A little March Madness for Justin Dunn, something we're definitely going to keep our eye on the rest of the month, the Mariners ping pong tournament. We hope we were able to give you a glimpse of the Mariners' present and their future. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you at opening day.
This is the Mariners Season of Change, presented by Albert Lee and Dubin Law.